Show and peep what these dudes bring. If you didn't know, it's an orange and blue thing. Hope to win the championship and a few rings. We're talking baseball. It's an orange and blue thing. Walk off if the game's tied like shoestrings. It's a Mets podcast, orange and blue thing. Beat the other team with defense and a few swings. LFGM, it's an orange and blue thing.
What's up, Mets fans? Orange and Blue thing back at you. Season 6, episode 25, if you care to keep track. The Mets are 97-57, 40 games over 500. Only 8 games left to play and still one up on the Braves. The first comment in the chat from Michael Giordano is, how late was Julia today?
Tell him, Darren.
She was actually too early. I had something planned that I didn't want her to see. Because I was like, oh, there's no way she's gonna be on time. I'm sitting on the floor over here. She walks in like, fuck. But whatever, we'll get to that later.
Louse.
So today is September 27th, 2022. 10 years ago, we were at Citi Field for a game that really meant nothing in the standings, but it was game-changing for us specifically, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a little tweet earlier today. It's like 10 years ago today changed the game. Obviously didn't change the game.
Right.
But people write that about like things that they're involved with.
Are you explaining yourself because
somebody
had the audacity to say?
Just like the girl who said that Jacob deGrom, I'm going to mention this all the time.
I can't. It's the funniest thing.
Did you know that Jacob deGrom was not gesturing towards the group? Yes, I know that girl on Twitter. Anyway, so yeah, 10 years ago today, we changed the game for ourselves.
Yes.
And the 7-Line Army was officially born out there at Citi Field.
I was unfortunately not there. I was in school.
You were like 10.
I was in school.
How old are you?
2012.
How old are you now?
I'm 27.
So you're 17.
I was trying to think what year I was.
Senior in high school?
Junior year.
Junior
right?
year? No, you're like a senior when you're 17.
No, I started.
Did you get left back? I thought you were smart.
No, my
no offense if you
senior
got left
year.
back.
I graduated 2013. Oh, so I just started my senior year. What month are we in? It's September. Okay.
Yes.
I'm thinking summer. Yeah.
Right. You were a senior when you were 17.
I just started my senior year. Yeah.
So you were 17 at school, and I was getting wasted at Citi Field. I was also like, I mean, I talk about this often because obviously my lifestyle has changed over the past 10 years. But I'm wearing the same T-shirt from that day. And it was definitely a lot tighter back then too.
Wow.
So like, I'm glad I cleaned up my act a little bit. Not saying that you shouldn't be kind of young and reckless,
right,
as well, but that's what I was doing back then.
Good
so
for you.
10 years and 137 outings later, we are 77-60 overall.
That's
I don't know
bananas.
the road. Like people like to bring up like, oh, you guys are bad luck on the road. Yeah, it's a known thing that most teams win more games when they're home.
But also every single road outing, the team mentions that they were glad the 7-Line was there, which they don't have to say. Like no one's paying them to say that.
Maybe it's just that we put too much pressure on them. They want to succeed.
It could be that. Well, I swear to God, I will never forget when we were in Pittsburgh last year and they friggin' blew that like 6-0 lead and Edwin Diaz gave up like a walk-off grand slam. I will never forget Kevin Pillar was playing in left field right in front of us. And the effort he made to bring that ball back into the stadium, knowing it was never going to happen. I'm not saying it's because of us, but like it was right in front of us. And I could tell like he could definitely hear us going back and forth with the Pittsburgh fans. And I know in his mind, he was like, oh, fuck. I have to do what I can. But yeah.
Yeah, so it's
it might be more pressure.
I'm going to turn the tables on the fans and say we're bad luck. It's not that we're bad luck; it's that the team just tries too hard because we're there.
We're so much to impress and play for.
What's the most important part of these road games, obviously, is getting together with fans and having fun. You know, so I mean, as long as that happens, then we're undefeated. But
that was so wholesome.
Oh, thanks. It's true
really,
though.
Like put that, not to be right on the nose, but put that on a T-shirt.
Maybe we will. We'll get to that another reason why in a little bit, but yeah, so they won the series this past weekend. That's what matters. They won the series when we were in Colorado. That's what matters. Unfortunately, the outing we were there, they lost, but whatever, who cares?
I know. I was literally watching that last game. I was like, God, poor 7-Line. For all the people.
Well, you know, you think of it, our first Pittsburgh outing in 2015.
Yes.
That was Harvey's worst start of his career, right?
Yeah, that was like to date, he had not had a start that bad.
Jacob deGrom has not had a start that bad until this past Saturday. So we're at the tailgate party, and thanks to all the fans that volunteered, the Oakland Athletics are incredible hosts.
Awesome.
And people say, oh, well, it's easy for them because they don't sell tickets and they're probably so happy you guys are there. Like, yeah, of course. Like they're no one's beating down the doors to try to get into Oakland
Right.
Coliseum. And we did buy, I think it was 800 tickets. I think it was a little more than 800, whatever it is. But they don't have to go out of their way for us. So the Lot K that we were talking about last week's show before the, obviously the tailgate we had in Oakland was incredible.
Yeah.
So we go in, they allowed us to bring 10 cars in an hour before their gates opened. I just had to give them their names. They showed up. They had a VIP entrance.
That's awesome.
Pulled right into the tailgate area, unloaded. So we had people there helping unload.
It really is such an underrated part of the ballpark experience, how the parking situation is and how it goes and how easy it is to get in.
Incredible.
That's
so I didn't
awesome.
take the BART, which is their train. I took an Uber over, but Dave Gibner and I walked over, and there was already fans there.
Yeah.
There was outlets, so people had like
No
inflatables
way.
plugged in, a whole line of tents, coolers with ice. But the Athletics themselves brought tables, chairs, porta potties,
No way.
barricades around our area.
Just because you guys were going to be
Yeah,
there?
because they reserved that spot for us.
That's awesome.
And like there was no charge for it. They could have easily been like, hey, it's going to cost like
no,
a G.
that's above and beyond.
Like, yeah, sure.
That's
Like
sick.
we would have paid it, but
Yeah.
we didn't have to. So thanks again to all the fans that helped out,
Wow.
bringing all supplies. And it was just a fun, atmosphere, because it's the kind of thing where it's like the far majority of the people there have probably never been to an outing with us before
Yeah.
and don't know anybody. So like what quote unquote the regulars, like
Right.
the New Yorkers who went, or people who do a lot of the outings, are in the far minority at these kinds of things.
Yeah.
So like we're standing there, and I kind of like that. I'm watching everyone kind of like,
yeah, it forces you to have to make
it's
new
its
friends.
own thing,
Yeah.
So the tailgate was obviously the highlight of the day, and the first half of the first inning was great because the Mets went up 3-0 and gave Jacob deGrom a lead for.
I missed the whole first inning,
Yeah.
and I could not even believe when I saw they had given Jake a 3-0 lead and he gave it right back.
Yeah,
My
which
jaw
is like
dropped.
unheard of.
I was really afraid. I was like, is he okay?
Yeah,
'Cause that's
yeah,
not
yeah.
not normal.
So go on and share the show as we always do. We give away some free stuff thanks to our friends at Coney Island Brewing Company. We talked about this beer last week, and it just magically, it's still cold. It just magically appeared. It got delivered.
Oh my god, it's really cold.
It got delivered now, still cold, from Coney Island. And I'm going to have it tonight. I'm going to bring this with me to the game. So
Love it.
don't tell anyone.
You're going tonight?
I have a lot going on at Citi Field today.
I know
Yeah.
you're going to City. I didn't know you're going to the game.
Yeah, I'm staying. I have
Okay.
I have something to film tonight with a certain someone, and we will
Oh.
show it off tomorrow or tonight. I don't know. It depends on how late I get home and how quickly I can edit it. But
Fancy.
we have a new product coming out that you saw in our chat, so you probably
Yes.
know what it is. But I'm filming a video tonight to announce what this product is, and then it's going to go up very soon. So if you guys are interested in purchasing something that might be it is going to be very limited edition. Stay tuned for social media tonight or tomorrow. I don't want to say it now. This isn't me like baiting you into it. I think it's going to be more special when they see what it is and they see a visual behind it. So I'm going to film that tonight, and then it's going to go up tomorrow. But anyway,
Fun.
so we talked about this beer last week. It's the Coney Island collaboration they did with Nathan's. And obviously it's not going to taste like hot dogs, but
Taste it right now.
I don't want to taste it right now.
I need to know if it tastes like hot dogs.
I don't want to have
The
a beer
people
right
need
now.
to know. Fact checkers, do you want to see Darren drink a hot dog beer right now? Let us know.
They might, but I'm not going to anyway. So it says the flavor of New York. Pick it up. I think this is a brewery only exclusive unless you're us, and they mailed it to us. So thanks to them for that. So do you have a favorite outing that you've been to over the 10 years, whether it is a moment on the field or a moment you
God.
had with a friend or
So, okay.
Lizzie, think about that too. Favorite outing.
Yeah, that's hard. I was
Yeah, sure.
Oh, that's even better.
All right, so we have a volunteer.
This
Drew's here. He's going to
conversation.
let us know about the beer. Take a sip. Let me know. But while you're drinking that, let me know if you have a favorite outing.
I really just want to see his reaction before answering.
All right, first sip looks good. Looks refreshing. It's a
Does
it's
it
a
taste like hot dog?
it's 5%er
What's it supposed to taste like?
beer.
No,
I don't know. Read it.
Dog.
No. It's not definitely not supposed to taste like hot dogs. It's just a collab with Nathan's. They probably sell it at the.
A lager. That's it.
It tastes like a lager. He looks very refreshed.
There you
so
have it, folks.
go check that out.
Not like a hot dog.
I'm sure it's probably on tap or for sale at Nathan's. I don't know if they have a liquor license, but definitely pop into Maimonides
Maimonides.
if you're in the ballpark. No, it does not taste like a hot
Does
dog.
not taste like a hot dog. So to answer your question, do postseason games count?
We used to drink on the show all the time
Yeah, that
when
was
it was a
pre
nighttime
my
thing.
time.
Yeah, now when it's a daytime thing, I used to
like-
when we did the show in my basement, I used to fill up growlers. You know what a growler
Yes.
is, right? like before the show and just drink from the growler.
Well, that
So I
that
didn't have to
makes
go anywhere. It was
sense.
my house.
You're in your basement and it's
Yeah,
nighttime.
So anyway, yeah, it could be postseason, whatever.
So then-
any favorite outing?
It has to be World Series Game 3 because the vibes you can't beat.
Right,
A
right.
World Series 7-line outing, but on top of that, like it's my favorite moment at Citi Field ever. Like right there with Johan's no hitter, but was David Wright's home run was just like, and that is the exact section, place, people I would want to be surrounded by when that happened. It was just, perfect. It's like I'm almost like not nervous, but like I don't know how the postseason this year will live up to that. Like my expectations are so high just from how awesome that moment was.
Yeah.
So that's got to be it for me.
I mean, over the 137, I think I missed 3 or 4 total. There was one the weekend after Amelia was born. I missed that. That's Wilmer Flores hit a grand slam in the rain.
Yeah.
I missed that game. Then I missed like 1 or 2 others. Like one, I would miss like one every summer. I was going to a wedding once and something. I was like an anniversary at the track out on Long Island with a bunch of guys who were in town. So for me, I think just being honestly, like you can't say like, oh, the first one was the best, but like it really started the whole thing because that was
especially for you.
But if you also remember, it was a Thursday day game in 2012 for a team that was going nowhere.
Yeah, and also just you not having kind of like a proof of concept with this thing. Like you had no idea what to expect, like who's going to show up, how they're going to react. Like
if you watch the video that the compilation video that was put up today,
yes,
there's a clip in there of my ticket rep Chris Leith, who I'm actually texting right now.
Yes, I figured that's who that was.
And congrats to him. He just had a baby boy last week. So shout out to Chris and his family on the birth of their sons. Look at the photo, so cute. So I was saying to him, you know, him and Lee Castorgene, who we know is no longer with the Mets, and Chris Zaber and everyone that was in the beginning is so instrumental of like starting this with us.
Yeah.
You know, they're as much to thank as we are because the Mets sucked in 2012. So it's like, of course they wanted to like sell tickets. So we're like, all right, let's buy these tickets and see how quickly they could sell out, not knowing that Dickie was even going to line up.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be and what if they like we're talking about wins and losses? What if Dickie didn't pitch that day?
Yeah.
And what if they did lose and it was just like whatever, or let's just go to McFadden's?
Do you think that would have changed the trajectory of everything?
Maybe like little something.
But no, it's so true because that was like a high that sent people into the off season, like wanting more when the next season started. What if that game sucked?
Oh, so that's back to it. So the in the video, Chris comes over, you see the guy in the suit, and Amelia watches one. She's like, why? Like she was confused. Like number one, we're not wearing orange.
Yeah. I love that. She's only been alive with the 7-line wearing orange.
Well, I said to her today, I'm like, because I'm wearing the shirt 10 years old. I'm like, Amelia, do you have any shirts you've been wearing for 10 years? She's like, I wasn't. She stopped for a second because she's obviously not 10. Anyway, so Chris is in the video. I put my arm around him. He's like, hey, how you doing? Whatever. And he's like, I'm looking forward to next year, bigger and better. And I pop in and I'm like 1,000 tickets. And he laughs like that's not possible.
Like joking.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So now it's like, yeah, that wasn't possible then, but we went to San Diego with 1,600 people, you know?
That's why. That's another one that has to be. Well,
this isn't a total blow fest, by the way, on ourselves.
It's an anniversary.
Ourselves on our back.
We're reminiscing. It's fine. The San Diego trip for me personally was not one of my favorites for outside reasons, but that game was awesome with Bartolo's home run.
Oh, it's incredible.
Also the first Philly outing where they came back and David Wright had the game-winning hit in like the 14th inning.
And the photo of him afterwards looking up to us.
Yeah, that's like a
hand.
core 7-line memory.
Right. So yeah, people like to bring up the road record or whatever, but it's like the Mets sucked for the majority of that. When you think of Philly, we're 2-1 in Philly now.
Mm-hmm.
We're 1-1 in Miami. We are unfortunately we lost both games in
Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh and in Atlanta. But then you think of like the highs of like Kansas City was sick. The pregame in Kansas City was incredible. That tailgate party was insane. Plus Pete did a home run. It was such a good week. That's when he was going for 53. San Diego, obviously, Arizona. There's so many like highs, you know.
Even if they don't win, like, and I know, you know, it's half serious, half not. People who like to say like, oh, the 7-line is the jinx, whatever.
Well, it's not because look at the record.
But I always think of, and you may be a little too old to get this reference, but anyone who grew up with SpongeBob, There is an episode of SpongeBob where he's trying to convince Squidward to eat Krabby Patties, and like the phrase is, "The only people who don't like Krabby Patties have never tasted one." And that's what I think of whenever I hear this. I'm like, the only people shitting on 7-line away outings have never been to one. Like, you don't. It doesn't matter. Like, obviously, you want the team to win, but like, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't go there and be like, "Oh, we shouldn't have gone because we lost and we're a curse." I'm like, no, that was a really fucking fun trip to take on a random ass weekend with a bunch of strangers, and we all have something in common, and it's fun.
So a funny story about Saturday, in the first inning, Jacob deGrom, there was 2 strikes. We all stand up and start clapping. And there was a guy sitting 3 rows behind us, obviously not with us.
Right.
He was wearing a Detroit hat too. I think he just liked baseball, and like I think he was with his daughter. He was older and she was keeping score or whatever. And he's like, "Are you guys going to stand all game?" And I was like,
sorry.
Yeah. You're like, yeah. Like, we're not trying to ruin your time, but like, this is like what we do. There's 800 of us here. I'm sorry you sat in that set, like a few rows behind us. He's like, "That guy, I can't see if that guy says that." He was like one guy next to the left of it. I think it was like the Seidels.
But was he getting like genuinely annoyed or like?
He was really mad.
Oof.
And I was like, "You could sit over here. There's like an open seat. I'm sure they're not going to like mind if
nobody
you move.
gives a crap.
There's nobody here. Like, and then you'll be able to see."
Yeah.
But by the second or third inning, he was all about it. He was, and he was older too. Like, and then he was standing up. He moved down, but he did still stand up.
So did he not, when they first said something, did he not
He didn't
see
really
the chant yet?
No, I think he like didn't get what we were doing.
I feel like once you see the full picture, you're like, okay, that's
but then
cool.
we turned him. It was great. It was awesome. Oh, speaking of turning people, I
know where this is going.
Let me pull this up.
This is the best thing ever. So I'm gonna give background. We're talking about Billy, right? Billy Eichner.
I don't even know who that is.
Okay. Oh my God, that's so sad. Billy Eichner. If you don't know who Billy Eichner is, he does a little show. It's called Billy on the Street. He's an actor, comedian, whatever. He's doing promo right now for it's honestly, this is the first I've ever seen something like this. It's like a full-fledged gay rom-com where it's 2 guys and it's but it's amazing. And I'm so glad that he's leading in it, but they're doing promo for it, I guess. And there was some interview and somebody asked Billy Eichner who his first gay crush was, and you must listen to the answer.
All right. Hopefully, I've been playing some clips lately from like this platform, and it hasn't really been transferring that well to the sound for the listeners, so hopefully they can hear this. Hold on.
Who was your first gay crush?
Keith Hernandez, the first baseman for the 86 New York Mets.
So that's his first crush. His first gay crush was Keith Hernandez.
It's just so amazing.
Yeah. So Kara, I guess, saw that and screenshot it and put it on the internet there for us to see.
The best.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love Keith, right?
And who doesn't love Billy? If you don't know Billy, go after the show, not right now, but look up Billy on the Street. It is so funny.
Do you remember, I don't know why, but also 10 years ago today, for whatever reason, Keith Hernandez shaved his mustache?
Yes, that was for some charity. I can't remember, but it was like he did it for charity.
Okay.
But I didn't realize that it was all the same day. Wow.
Yeah, that was in they did it in the front near the apple wasn't even there yet.
Keith's current mustache is as old as the 7-line army.
Well, you have to keep trimming it.
Yeah, but like it's never been gone.
Right. So Keith, okay. So Keith's had if that's how you want it. But I mean, it's like your hair. This isn't the same hair you've had for 10 years.
No, but like it was completely gone. Now it's back.
Okay. That's a good connection, I guess. So yeah, Oakland. Have you ever been to Oakland?
I have not.
Kind of grimy.
Yeah.
So I guess COVID, unfortunately, took a toll on the area. A lot of places like never reopened is what I've been told. So like I was still on New York time. So I got up on Friday. Was nuts. I did go to the brewery. Remember the other day I was like, I'm going to stop at Blue Point on my way
to
see the fan. The morning show was there on Friday. I only really went for like 25 minutes tops because I live right there, and Gio's been a supporter of ours. He's been to a few things of ours. So I went there, said what's up to Gio. He introduced me to his mom. His mom's like a big fan of the 7-line. So he's like, I got introduced to my mom. So like it was during a commercial break. So I met his mom, said what's up and left.
People's mothers want to meet you.
Yeah, that's great. So I went straight to the airport, from the airport to the hotel, but I landed in San Francisco. I had to get from San Fran to Oakland on a Friday during rush hour, drop my shit off and get to the game.
How far away? I have no concept of Northern
It's like
California.
40. It's like 20 something miles or something like that.
It's not terrible, but
that's
during that time of day.
It's like an hour, you know. Went straight to the game and got back to the hotel. Actually,
how were the seats that night? Didn't you have like really sick seats?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Shu texted me. He's like, were you in the dugout? Because I put up a video of like I was this close to the Mets bullpen with
That's
no net or
crazy.
anything.
Oh yeah,
there.
because it's on the field there.
Yeah, it's right there.
Wow.
So we were sitting right next to Joely and Edwin and Trevor May and all those guys. Anyway, so Friday was sick, but we went to a bar afterwards near the hotel, and it was like a nice place right near the water. I don't know if they had live music and stuff, but whatever. It was a cool place, nice spot. Hundreds of people were there, and they still did last call at 10:15 on a Friday in a city.
Why?
So this is really fucking weird. I don't know. But anyway, I kind of stayed on New York time. So I got up at 4:30 in the morning on Saturday for no reason, thinking it was 7:30 at home, even though I traveled all day Friday. And then our tailgate started at 9:30 in the morning. So it was a long day.
Did you come home with jet lag or no? You stayed on?
All right.
I saw your trip home was not ideal.
No, but I mean, I'm glad that, well, when the game ended, there's nowhere I'd rather be than home after the Mets lose on the road, because it's like I do put so much effort into these things, and when they lose, and I'm like, man, people, and it's not, I shouldn't feel like that, because when I read the feedback and the reviews on the site, people don't really care that much.
Yeah,
if
especially
they win.
like the West Coast trips, because it's people who never get to do something like that have a way to do it.
Of course they care that they lost, whatever. It's not like, let's just drink beers and who cares about the win, especially down the stretch now. Mets are, they need to win. But I spoke to some fans of the tailgate, and a lot of people I've noticed they've been putting the patches on their hats. So like they wear the same hat to the outing,
like that.
and they put it on. And I said to a family that I met there, they were also in Anaheim, and I'm like, oh man, that stinks. You're like 1-3 or something. I'm like, oh, we wouldn't even know unless you told us. Like they don't, you know what I mean? Like I care so much that when they lose, I'm like, man, everyone's gonna be like depressed.
Right, like you're disappointing everyone because the Mets
So
lost.
I checked the flight, and I was like, let me get the fuck out of here. So seriously, I checked the flight. I went back to the hotel.
Kind of funny though.
I went into the JetBlue chat to be like, I should have done this to begin with, because I talked about it. I was like, I'm gonna just the game's at. Remember, I was like, oh, the game's at 1. I'll probably be back to the hotel by 4. I was like, I could probably get out of there that night. So I checked for a flight, and it was like a $900 upcharge. I was like, fuck it, I'll just stay till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Went and got some food, because up to that point I had a bag of chips and a cookie all day, because I don't eat the fucking the burgers and shit. So it's like I brought a bag of chips and a plant-based
This
Larry's
is why your
cookie.
shirt fits so well.
Yes. So I get back to the hotel, and I did put a thing up about this, and I'm gonna say his name is Jake. I didn't know if you wanted me to like put his name and stuff out there, but he did reply on Facebook, and
I think I saw him on Instagram too.
Yeah, or Twitter maybe. He's like, hey, nice chatting with you. So like he's replying, so it's not like he's trying to be like anonymous. But so I'm sitting at the hotel bar, doing my thing, just chilling, watching whatever sport was on, and he's like, hey, sorry to bother you, just want to like chat for a second. Yeah, sure, sit down. There was an open seat, and we had a drink, and he told me all about how it was his first ever outing. I'm sure you read it, but if people didn't see this, he watches the show. He said he he's a fan of yours, and
thanks, Jake.
Anyway, Jake just finished 4 years of college in Michigan. He's from Queens, and he told me it was his first time traveling with us, and he was by himself. And I was like, wow, this is like West Coast.
Yeah.
Not only that, like I was so irresponsible at 21 that like when I see people who have their shit together, I'm like more impressed, just because of like I didn't, what I mean?
Right.
So we get to talking, and he's like, yeah, I have a photo. My family are Mets fans. My grandpa and my mom was a big Mets fan, and he said like was. And I was like, oh, I guess you must have passed away. He said we have a photo, and we're both wearing our Mets stuff, and I was just born or whatever. And I'm like, oh, that's great, And he's like, yeah, unfortunately, she just went back to work after maternity leave and died on 9/11. I was like, oh my God. And then I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, well, these trips are like so important to people, like to some people, For some people it's not. They want to talk shit on the internet and be like, they lost,
Right.
I'm like, well, yeah, they lost, but like Jake had a great time.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, a friend of mine, Mike, replied to it as well. His father was also killed in 9/11.
I saw that.
And it's the same thing. Like the Mets was like the connection he had with him. So it's like, it's so important to him to keep up with his Mets fandom and go to games, just because like that's how he stays close to him. He was only like 5 when he passed away. And like,
yeah, it looked like
him,
I saw the photo.
Yeah, to him, it's like, this is how I stay bonded with my dad. So
right,
it
but
really
Jake
is.
never got to go to a game with his
Yeah.
mom, so it's like I'm sure the connection of like he knew that she loved the Mets, and now he likes the Mets, and he travels around. It's like I'm sure there's still a connection there,
And just to know, honestly, and that's what I love about the 7 line. It's like I go to games completely. I drive to the game by myself. I'm not with anyone, whatever. But like, you go there and you're never alone. So it's like whenever you want to go to a game, even if you don't have somebody to go with, like there's people to sit with, and I think that's
And just say what's up.
like
you
the
know,
kind of comfort of it. So
yeah. So,
love that.
but then I'm like sitting there and I'm like bitching a couple hours later, I can't get home. You know, and I'm like, well,
puts life into perspective.
I'm glad I kind of couldn't go home. You
Yeah.
know. So Jake wants to sit with us next year, and I was like, obviously,
Awesome.
you know how sometimes we're like, oh, you have to be not nominated, but if a seat opens up,
Right.
we first give existing members a crack to like invite their friend
No.
or their parents. Or I was like,
Give
yo,
Jake
Jake,
that
you're in if
Jake
you
has
want
moved to the top of the list.
if you want to be in, you're in. Yeah. So we've been emailing and stuff. So
Awesome.
he also mentioned Shannon Ford, so I don't want to skip over that.
Yeah.
So he became a part of Tuesday's Children, which is the foundation who does a lot of work for. Now they've brought in their horizon more than just 9/11
right.
children, but
So those children are now adults.
yeah, he's an adult. He's
Yeah.
21 years old. So he mentioned how incredible Shannon Ford was to him and the other kids that were involved, and it was nice that when I put that up, Shannon's family saw that.
Oh, they did.
And Shannon's sister shared it and was like, this is great that like all these years later,
oh, that's sweet.
there's still like my sister's name is still,
and the same thing with his
out there
mom. Like,
and-
this is how people live on.
right.
It's bigger than just baseball.
Right. So
That's really
just wanted
sweet.
to touch on that for a second. So, yeah, the way home on Sunday though. Oh my God.
Thank God Darin had this
So
perspective
Saturday
when
I had the
boarding the
perspective.
plane.
Sunday morning I write this little thing in the notes because it was too long for a tweet and put it up. And then I get to the airport. I leave at 9 a.m. on Sunday. I got home in bed at 1 a.m. So this has never happened to me before. I never even heard of this happening to anybody.
I was very confused when you said
We
this.
board the plane.
Uh-huh.
I'm sitting in the exit row. They go through the whole song and dance. Are you willing to help if you need to? Yes, I'm good to go. Right. They show how to put the seatbelt on if you don't know how to put a seatbelt on.
Yeah.
And then they come on the speaker and they go, oh, attention, this is an announcement from the flight deck. We're going to have a 3-hour and 10 delay, and we can't have you sitting on the runway that long. We're going to have you deboard the plane and go back into the terminal. I'm like, I was even saying to myself, could always be worse.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like perspective, right? So not only that, you had to take all your shit off. So you had to get your bag.
Did they give an explanation? Was like something was wrong with the plane?
I think it was
weather?
like they knew weather was on the way to New
Okay.
York, and I think they were trying to time it better so when we were going to land, we wouldn't be in the storm, right?
But
so
like you couldn't figure that out like, I don't know, half an hour sooner.
I don't know. So we have to take all of our bags off, go back into the terminal. They're like, but don't go anywhere because it might be less than 3 hours. So I sat there and edited a video, whatever. It wasn't the end of the world, right?
Right.
So we get on the plane, ended up being a 2-hour and something delay. We get back to New York. I had fly. It was JetBlue, so I'm watching the weather as I always do, like I've been doing because of this weekend in Atlanta. And I'm like, there's a really serious storm going to Queens right now, right? We get towards Pennsylvania, and they're like, we're gonna have to circle around for half hour, and hopefully the storm passes, and we can make our
air.
Yeah, like we could make our final descent into New York, right? So we circle for the half hour. They get back on. We're gonna have to circle for another half hour. About the whole same exact thing, basically word for word. And the girl that was the woman that was the flight attendant, I was gonna say stewardess, I don't know if they call it anymore. She's sitting there like in the jump seat next to us in the exit row, and I'm looking at her. I'm like, "What? Shoot me straight. What's the story here?" She's like, "We're running out of fuel." She's like, "We're probably gonna have to land in Connecticut."
You're lying.
So she's like, they're trying to circle to see if there's an open space like with the storm to land, but if they don't decide in 10 minutes, we gotta land in Connecticut. I'm like, great. So like we're running out of gas, we're in the air.
Wait, so what happens? Is it just figure out a way home from Connecticut, or
they'd have to refuel and take off again.
Okay.
No, take off again and then land in New York.
Same plane, you don't even get off.
But
charge it up.
I didn't even know this was a thing until Sunday. You could time out. So like stewardess, flight attendants, and pilots are only allowed to work X amount of hours. And if you pass those hours, you have to wait for a new crew to show up.
Yeah.
So we were almost on the verge of timing out. If we would have landed in Connecticut, we'd have to wait there for another pilot to get on and bring us home. Luckily, they said, fuck it, let's just go for it. And they flew through the storm and we landed in New York. But I swear, I was looking out the window and you could see the lightning like around the plane.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
It was crazy. I sent a
nightmare.
screenshot to Kel. Like, this is what we're trying to land in right now. Because, obviously, you probably have seen a map before. Red is not good.
Yeah.
This is what it looked like when we were landing. That's crazy.
That's unsafe.
Yeah, unsafe. but we landed.
Wow.
And if you guys are here for the weather report, this Friday does not look good in Atlanta. So
Ugh.
actually, Friday doesn't look that bad. I think Saturday and Sunday
I
is
thought
more
Friday
of the
was
issue.
the bad day.
I don't know.
You're the Doppler Darren. I haven't checked recently.
Well, as you've known, if you watch the show, I want to go to Atlanta if there's a chance they can clinch. If the Braves keep winning and the Mets keep winning, that's not a possibility until Sunday.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to go, I'm going to decide Sunday morning
Okay.
after we see what happens this rest of the week, because the
Right.
Mets have 2 at home.
And you're lucky you got moved to a night game.
Yes, I am, because I'm going to go to Massachusetts anyway. I'm going to
Yeah.
go to the race on Friday and Saturday. If the Mets win on Friday and they win on Saturday and they could potentially clinch on Sunday, I'm going to go home and get on a plane and go right to Atlanta
I'm exhausted from just listening to that.
after racing. You're pretty tired after a race. So that's the story. But we don't even know if they're playing in Atlanta.
I know. That's the real wrench. And I feel like it's going to be one of those things that if they don't end up playing in Atlanta or whatever happens, however this series ends, whichever team does not come out on top, like that's going to be the defining moment of when everything went wrong. I just feel like it's going to be so dramatic.
Right.
Like people will blame the location change on, which, very well could be a thing. It's unexpected travel to a different place, but
Well, I asked the internet
Oy.
and no one got back to me. I added Anthony DeComo because everyone else is chiming in with
You
their
mean
own
Tony?
thoughts here. Tony.
well,
I'm
maybe
sorry.
you got to call him Tony and then,
Yeah, we're
then he'll know
friends.
to answer.
Hey, Tony, let us know. Gabagool. So anyone on the beat with any extra info hearing about the series moving, because they've done that before where they move it to a neutral location
Yeah.
when there's time is running out. The Mets cannot make up these games.
Right.
There's no time.
I'm willing to bet if no one has said anything, there is probably no concrete anything.
No. But everyone's chiming in like, hey, play in my backyard.
Yeah.
I'll give you a neutral site. So initially I was like, well, I looked at the schedule to see who's away.
Yeah.
And the Marlins and the Rays are both away, but you can't
No, you
really have
can't go to
people
Florida.
fly.
Florida's getting hit just as bad.
Right, but they were saying like by Friday the storm should be
They
past
could all be
Florida.
out of power.
Who knows?
It's going to be in shambles. You don't want to
Right,
depend
right,
on
right.
going there.
So we don't really know what's going on, but wherever they happen to be playing, if the Mets can potentially clinch, I would love to go.
Yeah.
I would much prefer, for our sake and
I
for
was just
fans'
to
sake,
say,
to do it at home.
I was going to say, have them come to Citi Field, but make the Braves the home team.
No.
Keep it fair.
Meaning like if they do, of course I want them to wrap it up. But
Right.
if by some chance it's still like
clinch it home.
1 up,
Yeah.
2 up, whatever on Sunday, then I don't go to Atlanta.
Well, I prefer
we
that
win
as
it on
well.
Monday at home.
I'm also, because
And go to TickPick,
I'm
get
not-
some tickets.
I was going to say, I'm not working Monday, so I might go too, but I am so excited about this. The Mets, I think, listened to my rant on this show about how they don't advertise Bark in the Park. They made a whole ass Instagram post.
What? After Bark in the
Advertising.
Park?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Advertising Bark in the Park October 4th. And I'm going.
Wait,
And
another
I'm-
Bark in the Park?
Yeah. They're
They
having
do
another
that
one.
more than once?
They have several in a season, but the first 2 of the season got rained out.
You have
That's
to
what I
buy a
was so
special
upset about.
ticket for that?
You just have to sit in the Coca-Cola corner. That's the dog section. So any ticket in that section, you just
Huh.
need to get one for your dog. So even though Freddie is 10 pounds and will sit on my lap, he needs his own ticket. But
Maybe
other
that
than
could be
that-
Bristol's first ever game.
Oh my God, bring her. We can sit together.
Oh my God, guess what? She learned how to use the steps. It took
Yay!
weeks.
Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of her.
She went up the steps last night.
For
and I was like,
background, I gave Darren doggy steps to help his dog get onto the bed because she was waking him up at 4 a.m. every day wanting to come up.
I still kind of woke up when she got up. This-
But you'll get used to it.
yeah, but I was like, wait, she used the steps. And then I was like, yeah, I trained her. I was like,
Well, thank you, Kelly.
Thank
Proud of
God.
Kelly.
so let's talk about TickPick then.
Oh,
Tell
yes.
the people what you know and what they should know.
Okay, I have so much to say about TickPick this week, but first of all, let's stick to the important
This is
stuff.
for Tuesday's game. This is Bark in the Park Day.
Yes, go check the Bark in the Park section. Those tickets will probably be a little pricier just because they know that you're desperate.
23.
So pricey, but that's pricey for TickPick.
Yeah, it is.
So go to TickPick.com or the TickPick app. No extra taxes or fees. The price you see on a ticket is the price you're going to get. You can use our code OABT for $10 off any purchase of $99 or more. If you are a first-time user, I highly recommend doing it. I have said it before and I will say it again. Their customer service is top-notch. So I love Lil Nas X. Okay. And
Who?
Lil Nas X.
Okay.
He had a concert
I know who that
at
is.
Radio City Music Hall last Wednesday. And I went. I bought my tickets from TickPick a few weeks earlier. This was completely my fault, failed to realize the email they had sent me in the confirmation. Like I had to open it. I had to click a transfer link from Ticketmaster to send me the link, and that link expires. So like you had to do it within a certain amount of time. I didn't think to even try and look at my tickets until I was outside of Radio City Music Hall and the concert was going to start in 10 minutes. And it was like, this link has to be clicked before the start of your event. And the link had expired. So I couldn't see my tickets. So I called TickPick customer service. They answered right away. Within 5 minutes, they sent me a new link. I was in the concert on time.
Excellent.
Yeah, they are the best.
So not just for Mets tickets, for pretty much anything. Lil Nas X.
And this was like 8 p.m. on a Wednesday, and they answered right away. I also, so at first they had answered, they sent me the link. I didn't get it right away, so I got nervous. So I DM'd them on Twitter because we've had some conversations. They got back to me right away. They like triple checked to make sure I got in okay.
Hell yeah.
They are the best. So you can't beat TickPick for anything. Get your tickets there. If you have any trouble at all, call them. They will help you right away. They are the best.
So the get-in price for next Tuesday, if you're not bringing your dog, is $9.
Yes.
So yeah, next week's gonna be very important at Citi Field, no matter what.
Yeah.
We're gonna be there with the crew on Wednesday. So I already know that if it's a chance that the Mets can clinch, I'll be there
tickets
every
on
day.
Monday too.
Every
I should
day.
probably do that before in case it becomes the day that they could clinch before it gets too crazy. I might just buy the tickets anyway because I'm not working.
So shout out to Rebecca Graziano, who was actually in that video from the first ever outing at Citi Field. She says that SNY has an article saying that maybe they should play on Thursday, but says that MLB hasn't said anything yet. So I guess everyone's kind of in the wait and see period, because like how many times has Rich Hoffman said it's going to snow a foot
we don't know
a little flurry, you know?
You have to, like, that's the thing though. You have to prepare, and I feel like they have to figure something else out regardless, because there is no time.
Well, just like we say with
there's one day between the season ends and the wild card series startings, and one of those teams is going to play in that series.
Right.
So they have to figure it out.
And it's like us saying like, postseason merch. Like if you're not ready, you're late. You know,
exactly.
If you haven't heard, we can't sell our stuff for 2 weeks. Whatever. It is what it is. So speaking of being late to the show or late to things.
Me.
Maybe this doesn't even make sense, because that doesn't really, it doesn't.
Your segues are always perfect.
Yeah,
Go
this
with it.
one,
I will guide you into the sun.
This one's not good, but I was listening to The Fan yesterday on the way home, and Joe Beningo, who is no longer, daily. No, he's not daily on The Fan anymore. He used to do obviously the show with Evan Roberts, and Evan's now with Carton, but he does something with Tiki and Tierney, the midday show, where he calls in once in a while, and they were talking football yesterday, and he's a Jet fan, so he's like, well, at least I got my Mets. And then he says, don't get me started. Did you hear this?
No.
All right, so I'm going to play this clip from The Fan yesterday for those of you who may not have heard it. Hopefully I get the sound on. Hold on 1 second.
Saturday didn't look. You don't want to get me started on deGrom. You don't have the time. I don't have the time. I wouldn't give this guy a dime. Goodbye. Go. No, I wouldn't. They got a lot of free agents. They got to resign. I don't trust this guy one iota. And I'm surprised after this wonderful performance. And this doesn't. Remember, he got a 3-run home run to tie the game against Pittsburgh. It goes up against Rummy Oakland team. The game they got to have, and you know what's the thing. Okay? Don't be surprised if like 2 days from now there's a twinge in his elbow. Okay? All of a sudden, wait a minute, the Big Jake has got Bob Gibson, Sandy Koufax, Bob Fowler, the greatest pitcher of all time, has got this freaking injury. Okay? I've had it with him. They got a lot of guys to resign. I wouldn't give him a time. Go pitch for the Texas Rangers, I don't care. And sign Nimmo, sign Diaz, sign Bassett, sign these guys. Forget about deGrom.
Wow. I mean, at least I hope you get a birdie soon this week, and I know you will because you're playing, but happy joke.
So sure get the birdie. Wow.
So I hope you guys can hear that. I've been watching Julia's reaction the whole time, and she's been looking like this for the past minute and a half. So I know you haven't heard that yet, because that's a shock to you, right?
No, here's the thing. I totally think concerns about deGrom's health and longevity going forward are legitimate. He's an aging pitcher coming off a significant injury. I get that. But that's just, I feel like that is just so like quintessential New York radio. I'm just going to talk out of my asshole to stir the pot nonsense. Like, I get it. But at the same time, Jacob deGrom, if he keeps doing what he's doing this year, with the exception of his last start, because he's giving you like 5 to 6 near perfect innings, and then he runs out of gas, which is not the Jacob deGrom we're used to, but whatever. If he can give you that the rest of his career, I don't care. Steve Cohen has all the fucking money in the world, and it's not my money. I don't care. I want to see deGrom retire as a Met. He could easily have his number retired one day if he wants to stay here, which I don't think him saying that he's going to opt out means he doesn't. I think it's just, hey, I was given a Wilpon contract and I want a Steve Cohen contract, which is totally fair. He's the best pitcher in baseball. He's entitled to that. I just think that's so ridiculous. And again, it's not your money. And like, if we're not at a place where Steve Cohen being like, oh, well, I signed Jacob deGrom, so I can't sign Brandon Nimmo. That's not a thing. Like that's not happening anymore.
Right.
So if that's that's the only argument you can make to not re-sign Jacob deGrom, because whatever, if he ends up never playing a game as a Met again, like it was still worth the risk. Because like Anthony DiComo said when we had him on here right before the trade deadline, there's nobody that you're going to go out and get who at their best is going to be better than Jacob deGrom at his like 85%.
Right.
So it's worth the risk. That is so stupid. That's all I have to say.
And I think that, after this season is up and we see what shakes up with these not the contract, but like some kind of deal with deGrom.
Yeah.
It's not going to come down to money.
No.
It's going to come down to, does he really want to be here or not? Because not that, Steve Cohen is going to spend like a drunken sailor, whatever he said, but within reason, they're going to spend the money.
And
they are going to do the right
Steve Cohen
things.
knows what Jacob deGrom means to this franchise. He knows what would happen if it was a matter of money that he didn't stay.
Right.
If it was, he will not let him go because he's asking for too much money. That will not be a thing.
That's why the discussion is on the table now about Judge. It's like, are the Mets going to really be in the discussion to have Judge become a Met?
Right.
And of course they're going to be in the discussion because they're going to dip their toe in the water and find out what's it going to take.
Right.
And if not for nothing, just to drive the price up, make the Yankees overspend.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. But the reason why I was bringing this up before, because I wanted to talk about this during the All-Star break, during the trade deadline, and then they ended up not spending, and Darin Ruf is now starting games for some reason in right field until Marte comes back.
I have a theory. They called the Giants trying to get Wilmer Flores back, and they were literally like, no, take Darin Ruf. And they were like, well, fuck, we're out of time. Let's just take him.
Right.
That's my theory.
So, like you said, this is not the old Mets. This is the new Mets, and I don't think it's ever going to come down to money. So I think Joe Beningo just has to remember down in Florida who's in charge here.
Yes.
And who's in charge can walk around like this and spend money like it's going out of style and not run out.
He's been waiting to do that the whole show.
Make it rain. Yeah, this is real.
No, it's not. It's too thick. But he was mad that I was early today because he just wanted to shoot this at me when I walked in, and I surprised him by being early. But
you did.
Let it stay.
All right, sure. Let it stay.
Part of the ambiance.
Yeah, it is. Mr. Met with a nice $100 bill. All right, guys. So we talked about TickPick. We have to talk about the playwright because our good friend Andrew, the general
who
Indart,
doesn't listen to us,
who doesn't listen to the show, and if he does,
I don't know why we're saying this because he's not going to hear it. He doesn't listen.
He doesn't let it compute, even though he was home. Like he said, he doesn't have the time.
No,
he's been home for like 2 months.
He's been home. This is just Andrew making an excuse.
Yeah,
he didn't listen.
So anyway, we've been talking about this, and of course, like we were saying, it's not wrong to prepare because you need to prepare or you're late. So every single road playoff game, we will be at the Playwright in Manhattan on 35th Street, just like we were back in 2015. We have some unfinished business with the Playwright. We would love nothing more than to see a bunch of winning games together. Like we were talking about the group and the outings and the fun atmosphere and all that. We try to bring that to the bar as well. So even if you don't know anybody, just come on down. It's going to be free to get in, no cover charge, 1 hour of free beer before every game of the playoffs, and then Coney Island Brewing specials throughout the game. So you're definitely not going to want to miss it. The place packed out to capacity like hours before NLDS in 2015. So definitely, we don't know you can't mark your calendars yet because we don't know what the dates are going to be.
Well, you can kind of tentatively, when the NLDS will be.
Right, but you don't know home field advantage and all that stuff.
Right, but you kind of.
Whatever. Either way, that's where we'll be. So you should be there too. Definitely, circle your calendars for that. But in the meantime, if you have not got involved yet with the giveaway from Coney Island Brewing Company. And maybe this is your first time watching the show because I don't know where you've been, but you're watching it
Andrew,
today.
you just don't watch
Yeah,
us.
maybe you're just Andrew and Dart and you say you're too busy. But text the word Coney Mets to 855-933-4223. That puts you in the running for the 2 season tickets for next year at Citi Field. A $100 gift card to the Coney Island Brewing Company brewery out there at Maimonides in Coney Island. And also bought a whole bunch of swag. So Mets shirts, hats, pint glasses. They're one of the official partners of the Mets. So they have the agreement and the ability to make all this cool merch that we've been handing out and bringing to the tailgate parties and stuff. So share the show, and that's how you're put in the running to win this free stuff.
Yes.
All you have to do that is hit the little share button on Facebook and hit the retweet button if you're watching on Twitter. If you're in the area of Coney Island, you want to stop in. They are at 1904 Surf Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11224, home of the Cyclones. 12 taps of limited brewery only exclusive beer releases, a full kitchen, and an indoor-outdoor patio. So get it in before it's too cold. Enjoy some time down there near the beach and enjoy yourself. So let's announce the winners of last week's giveaway. On Twitter, we have Joe Rod BX, and on Facebook, Candace Warburton. Congrats to you guys, and we'll get that out to you as soon as we possibly can. So
wait, I have a legitimate question.
Okay.
And I don't know if you want to answer this now.
Oh, great. Put me on the spot.
No, it's up to you. So we've never been in this situation before. Is next week our last show, or do we keep doing this into the postseason?
No, of course, we're going to keep it going. As long as the Mets keep playing, we keep playing.
We're in. All right. Sounds good.
But either way, it won't be the last show, because if you think about it, if they unfortunately are the wild card team, then they will be playing.
Well, that's true. I just didn't know if this was a regular season only kind of shindig, or if we were going into.
No, we're going. As long as the Mets keep playing, we keep going. So they would have to play next Friday, and is it Saturday and Sunday? Is it 3 back-to-back days?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah.
So then, I mean, I don't want to say it, but either way, we're doing a show on that Tuesday.
Yeah.
Way to. What do they dim my sparkle? What do they say?
Way
to dull my flame.
Your sparkle.
Way to dull my flame.
Dull your flame.
That's not the term?
Dull your sparkle. You had like half of it. And
Dull my flame? That's not it?
No, it's dull your sparkle.
Lizzie,
Fact checkers, what's the phrase?
Lizzie walked by again. Do you have a favorite outing, Lizzie, before we turn this thing off?
What's your favorite
I got
outing?
things to do today.
The beginning ones for me was really exciting. Like all the ones that we even having to walk through the aisles and put in like the thunder sticks and stuff.
I don't know if you could hear her, but in the very beginning, back when let's talk about thunder sticks.
Yeah.
So Lizzie's saying in the beginning, now we don't do the thunder sticks anymore, but in the beginning, shout out to Chris Leith again. We used to get in early and we would stuff the cup holders with the thunder sticks.
Bring them back.
The reason, see all this money laying on the floor right now? This is what I saw when I'd walk out of the stadium, because after the thunder sticks weren't new anymore, meaning like a new thing.
I think it should be a postseason thing. I think everyone will use them for the postseason.
I think they would use them anyway, but let's say even half. Like when there's 859 seats, we would have 859 sets of thunder sticks in the cup holders. And then at the end, if you remember we would like have them in the back. It's like, if you want to use them, take them. If you don't want to use them, don't take them, to like save money, because honestly, we would see all these.
That's what I was going to say. What if at the top of each section
we could do
have
that,
them, and then people take them if they want them?
That was fun. So the excitement of putting
preparing.
Yeah.
Because now is like, honestly, a lot of it's, not saying that it's diluted at all, but a lot of it's out of our hands now that like the Mets distribute the jerseys and we kind of just plan the tailgate, and show up. But we used to have to do seating charts for every single home game, which I'm sure you're happy you don't do that anymore. But seatings for every home game, different T-shirts for every home game, the thunder sticks for every home game. It was like a lot more work,
the hustle.
But whatever. 137 outings later, we had a fun run so far and keep it going. So we're going to talk about next week, because like you said, there is a game on our schedule next Tuesday.
Yes.
If the Mets have already
Wednesday,
I'm sorry. If the Mets have already clinched by Wednesday, I'm not sure how many people are still going to bang out of work and be there at 4:00 on a Wednesday.
I will.
If we have to play on Friday, though, then we're playing Wednesday at 4 and Friday night at Citi Field. So next week's going to be absolutely insane. So
bananas.
Make sure you get some rest if you can.
Yeah.
And
hope you saved up your sick days.
What are you saying over here? No, they're just there. Lizzie wants to know if we talked about the ornaments yet. I posted a photo. Amelia designed these Christmas ornaments. There's a Mr. Met and a Mrs. Met.
Amelia designed them?
Yeah, she told me last January.
Oh, I love it.
I was like, hey, if you could design anything, what would it be? And she thought about it for a second and said that. So
that's so cute.
I hit Foco up. They helped do the creative for it and put together the molds. And that's the story for that. So I think we got to everything. We did the share contest. Shout out to Coney Island. Shout out to TickPick. Atlanta this weekend, maybe. Oh, I didn't talk about this because I do want to highlight this. This is important. The Mets put up a tweet. I don't know if you saw this.
I did not.
With Pete Alonso. How long is it? Can I play it? It's 36 seconds. Let's see if we can hear it. It's all about No Kid Hungry. Let me read it because if you guys are listening afterwards and you're not watching the screen, it says the City Community Home Runs program turns homers into meals. Now you can help. Retweet this post and Citibank will donate $10 to No Kid Hungry through 9/30 or when they reach $1 million. $10 can help provide 100 meals for kids in need. Wow. I don't know how $10 can provide 100 meals, but that's incredible. So each retweet will then automatically help you donate $10. So I'm going to do my retweet right now.
Let's go.
So I did not do that yet. I want to do that on the show to show you guys how easy it is. But let's listen to Pete Alonso talk about it.
Hey, Met fans, as you know, our long-standing City Community Home Runs program helps No Kid Hungry provide meals for kids in need. And now you can help us take action to feed even more kids. It's super simple. All you have to do is retweet this. And our partners at Citibank will donate $10 to No Kid Hungry through September 30th or when they reach their goal of $1 million. Just think. $10 can help No Kid Hungry provide 100 meals to kids in need. So let's hit this one out of the park. Thanks for supporting, and let's go Mets. Hey, Met fans.
He's the best.
He is the best, but also that needs a lot more retweets than it has. It was posted last night, and only like 300 something people retweeted it. We need more retweets on that thing. So.
Well, it's going up now. I mean, not due to us, but you can see like the scroll, like it updates really quick.
First thing I'm going to do when I get out of here.
Yeah, Pete, shout out to Pete and the Mets for doing that. I think that the way that it works too is like if they don't get enough, they'll probably still do the $1 million because if you write that, they're going to do it.
You have to.
Not saying you shouldn't. But.
Also, speaking of which, Francisco Lindor and his wife are raising money for Puerto Rico.
Yes,
and
I wrote
the
that
Amazing
down.
Mets Foundation has agreed to match their donation.
No, really?
Yeah, which is amazing.
Let's pull it up. Now too.
So if you want, go to Francisco Lindor's Instagram. I don't know his handle off the top of my head, but he and his wife posted a video. He included a link of where to donate. I don't know if they said the amount that they donated, but they've donated a significant amount, and the Amazing Mets Foundation has agreed to match it. So whatever you donate is going to a great cause, and it would make Francisco Lindor very happy.
Hey everyone, this past Sunday, September 18th, Hurricane Fiona landfall in Puerto Rico. A lot of people lost their homes, life necessities. So we partnered up with Team Rubicon. We donated a amount of money to help these people who are in need in Puerto Rico. Since we can't physically be in Puerto Rico right now due to our season, we wanted to partner up and thank the Amazing Mets Foundation and the current family because they also match our donation.
They would like to join us in supporting this cause, please go to the link in our bios and donate whatever your heart desires.
Thank you so much. Anything that you guys do, it'll go a long way. We love you guys, and this is for you guys, Puerto Rico. Love you.
That's great.
Hi everyone. This past Sunday, September 18th.
Sorry.
There you go.
Head on over to both those platforms and help if you can.
Do
So
your part.
next week, next Wednesday, tailgate. We'll be there no matter what.
Yes.
So I'm just saying, like, I wonder how many people are going to be as enthusiastic to go at 4 if they're going to be also going on Friday.
Also, if you're up for an 11 o'clock show next week, so I can be fully prepared to go to Bark in the Park early.
Are you kidding me? I want to do the show.
Amazing.
I will do the show at 9 a.m. I'm always asking you, like, what time can we do
Sorry,
it?
I had to feed feral cats this morning.
That's very strange.
All
All right, guys. So if you're heading out to the ballpark tonight, it's weird for me to say because, like, loyal to the last out, I have like an assignment tonight that I have to do. So I'm not totally like committing to the entire game. So if you happen to see me like walking out, so I'm not ducking out of the game. I don't actually have a ticket to the game.
Okay.
I have a credential to go do something. So
Fancy, mysterious.
say what's up. And then again, look on social tonight or tomorrow for this product we're putting out. It's going to be a limited edition release. And I think that you guys are going to be very interested in it. And hopefully you want to pick one up. So anything else you want to say? 8 games left. Let's see what happens.
I'm nervous about weather and baseball.
Weather and baseball. All right, guys. So no matter what, we will see you guys next Tuesday. Hopefully the Mets are on the road to clinching the NL East by then. Cross your fingers. We are not going to get any help from the Nationals, so we got to do it ourselves. Keep winning. And what do they have to do? If they go 6-2, they automatically win the division.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's go 6-2.
6-2, win at least one game against the Braves, and then that's the tiebreaker where
My stomach just dropped.
we would have the better record than them because we beat them
Yeah.
more than they beat us. So that's how tiebreakers work. So yeah, go 6-2, win at least one game against the Braves this weekend, and it's ours.
All right.
See you next week. Let's go, Mets. Put in the books.
Put in the books.
See you next week.
Scoop it up.
Oh my God. You left a word out last week. Do you know what it really is now?
Scoob et niti tup.
Peace.